Of course, it didn't go on the first click. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the New Year's Day edition of Tarology, where Mercury has gone direct. I have a buttload of people with me, but first, oh, please make that. Oh, gosh. Okay, I can't. You can't make this up. There is a window covering up my little thing to run my video. Okay, here we go. And it is Tarology. Okay, now we're officially into Tarology. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I have some new people here. Yay, I'm so excited. Okay, so we're going to go around. My two new people are Helen, the Irish Granny Tarot, and Sheila from Celtic Tarot with Sheila. And so we're just going to go. Well, actually, let's have our guests say hello first. So, Helen, go ahead and say hello and tell us what's going on your channel. And thank you so much for being here.
Well, thanks for the invitation. It's my first invitation of the new year. I'm excited, and it's wonderful to meet everybody. And Marina, I'm sorry I didn't say hello to you when I came on, but I was overwhelmed.
Oh, that's all right.
Now, what did you want to know? What's going on my channel?
Yeah, what's going on for you? What's coming up?
Well, I do a lot of political tarot, and I try to keep up with the current events that are not necessarily political. And sometimes I veer towards, well, if it's Black History Month or something like that, I'll tailor my readings to those subjects. Every Saturday I do a book. I synopsize a book, and I try really hard to invite the author, which can be problematic, or an expert, a pundit, somebody who knows about the topic, to come for a chat, and we do a deeper dive. And then I've been having a lot of fun lately with people, inviting me, and I'm inviting them, and it's been really fun. It's been like a gigantic party. It's been great. So yeah. I think that's everything.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. I didn't know that about the books. That's amazing. And just so everybody knows, I believe that I have put everybody's link in the description. So anybody who's in the chat, who's wanting to know, if you don't already know and are subscribed to Irish Granny Tarot, please go and subscribe to her right away. We'll all wait for you.
Please.
All right. And Sheila, please tell us about your channel and introduce yourself. I think pretty much everybody's going to know you, but just in case.
I know, it's just like going on Linda G's. I'm like, all Linda G's subscribers are my subscribers. They're all the same. But not that I have as many as she does. Oh my gosh. Okay. So thank you for inviting me. It's always an honor to be invited onto somebody else's channel. It truly, truly is. And not a whole lot going on. I usually 95 to 98% of my stuff on my channel is politically driven. I do invite guests. I've collaborated with almost everybody on this screen, other than Cleo, I think. I'm just meeting her. And then Gerald, is it Gerald? Whichever one it is. I think we are collaborating on my channel on the 7th of January. So I'm incredibly excited about that. We will be bringing our fans.
Nice.
We will be bringing our fans with us. So definitely come and join us to do that. And I guess that's it. But thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I've wanted to have you on for quite a while. So I'm a little bit fangirling here. So, just excuse me. Okay. Sherry, tell us what's going on with you. You have the most stars over your head, by the way, Sherry.
I'm telling you, that's a good thing. I need all the help I can get. I had the same reaction to Sheila the first time she asked me to do a show with her. I spent my time fangirling for like the first half hour because I couldn't believe I was actually reading with her. But she's so sweet. She makes you right at home. It's the Gemini in us. I've got, other than the normal, the Sisters of the Mystical Tarot, Golden Girls, Polytarology, that's regular and going on into the new year. My regular show with Juno, Fortune and Flows, we're going to back that down to once a month. And then I got a couple of new shows that are getting ready to roll out. And just working on getting my membership up and running and just staying busy. And I'm hoping like hell I can finish getting this room rearranged today so that it's done before I go back to work on Wednesday.
Good for you.
Everything's like upside down and inside out over here. So
Well, I feel your pain. I know how you feel. I just tried to redo my studio and we got stopped partway through. Of course, thank you, Mercury retrograde. But at some point, there will be something on the wall above my head. It won't just be white. There will be something there. So it's happening. It's coming. Marina, hi. How are you? Happy New Year. Tell us what's going on for you.
Well, I am well. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me on. This is wonderful. It's a great way to start the new year with like-minded people and people I really like. So that's fantastic. What's going on with me? Well, one of the big things, and I'm not exactly sure on what day it's going to happen, but I'll be launching one, possibly two websites. And really looking forward to that. I've been kind of putting it off and hesitating, and I didn't know why until it was one of those, you know what, just jump in. Just jump in, do it, take a chance. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You know, nothing ventured, nothing gained.
That's right.
So yeah, like Shari said, doing Sisters of the Mystical Tarot, Messages for Lightworkers with Val, the story in the cards, Taco Tuesdays with David from Tarot by the Bay, who is just absolutely awesome. Love to do the political reads with him. And just enjoying whatever comes up during the day.
Very good. Very good. Sounds great. And I love your background with the logo and the 2024 on it. Thank you for anchoring my little silly graphics. Very fun.
My pleasure. Here, I'll move. There you go. Oh, look, now I have a star on top of my head. Like, aim there.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Well, Val, how are you? Welcome. What's going on with your channel? I believe, did you hit 1,000? Oh, you're muted. You're muted. Unmute.
I'm about 29 away or 20.
Oh, so close.
I'm almost there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm excited about that. And thank you everyone out there who has subscribed. I really appreciate it. And thank you, Colleen, for having me on these shows because I love you guys so much. It's really fun. After this tonight at 7 Eastern time, I'm going to have another Akashic Record readings show with Shari Trancing with Spirit and Starfish Jenny and Linda Day Gonzalez from our community. So that's going to be a great thing. So I'm looking forward to that. And that's all I've got because I'm going to go on vacation for 2 weeks.
Oh, good for you. Oh, well deserved, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, great.
Looking
Well,
forward to
I'm really glad you could make all these, what did I invite you to? Like 175 shows.
I love them, to be honest with you, Colleen. I love reading with you and Cleo the Seer and everyone else that you have on. So it's always fun.
Yeah, and clearly the feeling's mutual because we all keep showing up and going, wait, don't I know you? No. It's fun. It's very fun. Really good. So Cleo, my sister, please tell us what's going on for you.
Well, I've just, going into the new year, I've had a chance to reflect on what's been going on in the last year. And this year 2023 has just been amazing for me. It's where I first got introduced to the psychic community on YouTube and where I've met all these wonderful people. And I'm just loving it that I've been doing shows with Gerald and Val and Marina and Shari. And of course, you, Colleen, you're the one that really got things going for me. And I'm really excited today to meet Helen and Sheila because they're brand new people to me and they look like fun. And I'm glad we're doing this show together. But really, I'm just really grateful for the great year I've had. And I just, I'll get into more about 2024 because I see that's going to be an exciting year also. And as far as what I'm doing on here. We have another polyterology on Friday. And I'll be doing that with everybody.
Yeah.
Except that Val won't be there because she's going, well, Val, you got to understand, Val's helping the tourist industry by going to Cancun because it's kind of fading out right now because the holidays are over. And so people are going, so
Yeah.
her and her husband, they're going to be helping out with the tourist industry, and she'll be gone in Cancun. I'm sure her and her husband both have forced themselves to do this. You know, it's got lovely weather and beautiful beaches, and
Mhm. Yeah, I think Val and her husband are the founding partners of Psychics Without Borders, if I'm not mistaken. Is that-
Yes.
So they're just doing their humanitarian work by going to Cancun. I love that.
absolutely. And Val, we appreciate that so much.
We do.
Thank
We
you,
really
Cleo,
do.
for it's recognizing my contribution to Mexico.
Yes, absolutely. So anyway, that's about it.
That's great. That's great. And finally, Gerald, what the hell is going on with you?
I'm TarotStache.
Yay.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Yeah.
I do so much stuff on my channel. It's a wide variety of things. I do readings. I do discussions, conversations, talking about decks, talking about different metaphysical and magic topics. I also host caffeinated and unfiltered readings where these are, it's clear, it's concise, it's blunt, it's to the point. And if you can't handle that, don't even bother showing up. So I have a great deal of fun. I am on Sunday. I am with Sheila. I'm looking forward to that. I'm also hosting the 9th light language conversation with JJ from Tuta Speaks and Karen from Starseed Awakening 1111. And so having a great time. So thank you.
Oh, that's great. And I'm just so happy to have everybody here and all together. So it is New Year's Day. So what I'd love for everybody to do is to give us your message for 2024. You can do it, you know, however you do it. You guys know how to do it. Just do it. And I think for this, we'll just start with Shari and go on around to, you know, you guys will figure it out. Go in order. There you go. Okay.
Yes.
So go nuts. There we go. Happy
My keyword for 2024 is kindness. Just be kind. I keep getting messages, the few channels I've been doing, the cards I've been throwing, it keeps coming back at me. Be kind to one another and express your kindness. We're across the globe. If you just across the board, you look at it and people just aren't very kind anymore. You know, they don't know how to be pleasant to one another or be polite to one another. And I think part of the steps of getting rid of all of the hatred we've got going on is if we start being kind to each other. You know, be kind to one person a day. You don't know what you're going to change in that person's life. You know, could be anything. So, pardon my son as he takes things in and out of here. My room is half open, half closed. But that's the biggest thing with me is just be kind. Like I said, I have some new stuff coming that I'm hoping really resonates with people because it's going to be more in that vein. So we'll see what happens. But I feel hopeful for 2024. Numerologically, get that word out in one sentence. 2024 is an 8, and that's a very powerful number. So I see we gotta have to hold on tight. It's going to be one hell of a ride, but I think overall in the end, it's going to be for the better for everybody. And just be kind.
Great. Thank you. Thank you very much. Marina?
I think that, you know, I do agree with Shari. Kindness is going to be really, really important. The one thing that I was really, really getting yesterday, and I did a video for my members about the kind of the week ahead and whatnot, is I kept getting this image, and I think it was Betty Davis. Correct me if it was somebody else, but her coming down the staircase, all dressed up, kind of saying, "Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy ride." But it was said with that glee and enjoyment and looking forward to it. And that's what the year feels like to me, that we are going to have bumps along the way. However, if you stop and look at the reality of the situation, not what's on the news, not what you're being fed, because you're being spoon-fed information that people want you to have a particular reaction to. When you do your own research, there is a lot to be grateful for. There is a lot to look forward to. And things are only going to get better. And in order for them to get better, yes, we do need to, you know, shine a light on you know, kind of where the dust bunnies are and where the grease is stuck to the wall. But if you don't do that, you don't know it's there. And then it just kind of grows. So you have to identify where it is so that you can move it, you can clean it, you can move on and be happy about the kind of the new day. So 2024 will have its challenges, but on the whole, it is going to be so powerfully good for so many wonderful reasons. I'm excited about 2024.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay. Val?
Okay, that was great. I really like everything that Shari and Marina have said. And there are so many shifts that are coming in 2024 for people politically. We're going to see a lot of things happening that are going to try and pull us out of our beautiful center and staying in balance and not attaching to it. So even though that kind of chaos is going on, it will be a very exciting time because some of that will actually settle down and we'll see some results. And with that having been said, don't dim your light by attaching to the negativity. Always keep your mind centered on all this beautiful energy that you're bringing in for this new earth that you're creating. So that should be your focus. And everything else around you is just watch it like a show, like an act that's playing out. And our community is all gathering together in this light to create that and birth that new earth. And we're doing that right now. And we're doing it today in this very moment in time. So remember your power. It's with your thoughts, your words, and all of that manifests every now moment to bring you this beautiful coalescence of energy. And there's power in that. And don't forget to watch Colleen's new show, which we will gather together and do that kind of work energetically, bringing in what we want for this beautiful birthing of this new earth. And I mean energetically. The earth, it will still be the same earth. We're just shifting ourselves to a higher frequency. And that's what I want to let everyone know for 2024. It's going to be a beautiful year with you keeping that in mind and always reaching for that higher awareness, that higher perspective of what is going on around you. So that's it.
Oh, thank you, Val. And thanks for plugging my new show. While that's top of mind, I'll just explain exactly what that's going to be. The working title of the new show is New World Vision. And in the promos, I'm just putting out on the graphics, visualize a new world. And that's exactly what we're going to do. I'm going to gather every well, right now we're doing it on Sundays, but that may change because there's a few people who can't make it on Sunday evenings. But we're going to gather a few psychics together and pick one area of life that we want to improve and just kind of brainstorm with each other about how we could improve that. Like, for instance, I think we're going to start with healthcare, how we could envision a more perfect way of experiencing that thing. So in the terms of healthcare, what would it feel like to not have any more disease? What would it feel like to live in a body that didn't get sick in order to die, but just got older? And how would it feel to be able to have all that you needed and all that would support you as far as healthcare went? That it would be, you know, an easier schedule in life, that you could go to the doctor for free, that it would be convenient to go to a doctor, that there would be no difficulty in getting your health care needs met on, you know, whatever stage of life that you're at. So we would all just sort of talk about that. And then I'm going to lead everybody through a visualization that would include also the people watching, so that we can visualize that very thing. And then we'll take that picture and send it out to the universe and let it go and hopefully manifest. And when you do manifestation or visualization like that with groups of people, it's incredibly powerful. And so my goal is to do that about all sorts of topics, you know, war, food, poverty, the earth, environmental issues, politics, all sorts of things. So thanks for bringing it up, Val, because I think it's really important that we get people putting their energy towards positivity. And a lot of us, all of us actually on this screen, do political readings all the time. And we get into kind of the muck of those politicians. And I know that, you know, they are kind of dastardly individuals, a lot of them, but we have to work at not letting our energy get into that weird thing that they're in. And this is one way to do that, to sort of counteract that. So enough of an advertisement. Okay. All right. So Helen, please tell us what you see for 2024.
Did that work? Okay. My view on it is that we're spirit, we're non-local consciousness having a physical experience. And specifically in this time, in this place, with these current events, because whatever lessons those provide us are vital to our personal and collective growth. So we've got two important things to do: is to keep our eyes on the larger picture, be aware, and at the same time look within and come to some sort of understanding about what this fake reality is providing us in spiritual growth. And I wrote this down because somebody told me this yesterday, and I think this is so true, that we can get overwhelmed, and this year is going to be a challenge. But I think it's important to realize that you may not be able to do a lot of big things, but each of us can do a small thing every day. And one of my guests yesterday was saying that he wrote a book about individual choices. He calls them quotidian decisions. The little tiny decisions that you make all day long have an enormous effect on the greater whole and the greater good. The things you buy, the places you shop, the food you eat, etc., you know, your entertainment, etc., etc. So we need to keep a broad perspective to understand what's going on, to figure out what those lessons are. Then we need to bring it home, bring it inside, and apply that in our small ethical decisions all day long. Always asking yourself, am I acting from just for service to others and from a place of love and compassion?
Beautiful. Wow. I'm kind of speechless. I need to kind of like let that all sink in for a minute before we move on. No, it's really good. I mean, don't you all? It's just kind of nice just to kind of let it go. Oh, that's cool. That's very cool. Okay, Cleo.
Well, 2024, it actually started with 2023, but we are in just a massive transition that for one, it's an election year, but the transition I'm referring to has more to do with the world energy and exactly where we're going with that. And this is the year that we get to make those kind of choices. If you want to stay down in the bottom level of it, you can choose to do that. But I feel like most people are going to rise above it. Their energy is going to be, they're going to feel that the new positive energy that's coming in the 2024, just there's so many changes and everybody's talking about the rough road. I've talked about that too. There is going to be ups and downs, but just because there's something that feels like one step forward, two steps back, no, it's not going to be two steps back. It's just to chill. Don't freak out. Don't panic when these things come up, especially the things politically. That we're all hoping for the same thing. We're all hoping that Biden gets it. We're all hoping that Trump is removed from the media for one. I can't believe we're still here. Yes. There you go, Ellen. And so, yeah, it's just this amazing energy, this transition that we're going through. And I think everybody will agree with me when I say, if you just follow your spirit guides, the spirit guides are trying to uplift us all and move us forward. And just, this is the year to have that happen. And yeah, to just go with it. It's going to be a roller coaster. But just when you think, oh no, the things that I want to happen is not going to happen, don't worry about it. That's just that little, it's kind of a test of how far can you get when in a year full of doubt. There'll be doubt. And you just have to rise above that, because we've also got this other positive energy over here that is raising it up for everybody. And it's going to be an amazing year. And I'm really excited about being a part of it on YouTube and working with all the psychics here, because I know that they're adding to that positive energy. So that's what I see for 2024.
Yay, 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 yay. Gerald, how about you?
Well, we have the Three of Matches, the Three of Wands reversed. This is going to be a time of great obstacles for us, and they're going to be obstacles that are going to show up in different ways in our everyday life. And it is up to us to actually calm down, think it through, and act with the greater good in mind. That is partnered by, there's going to be a lot of, there's going to be frustration. There's going to be creative blocks. That is paired with the Six of Matches, or the Six of Wands, because when we're able to calm down, think things through, we are going to be victorious on those everyday things. A lot of small victories are very, very important. Without those, we are going to get exhausted. We're going to be even more worn down. That being said, the end result is going to be, I love this. Am I allowed to show? Here, wait a minute. I should.
Newbies? Yeah, bring it on. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
We're going to have an emperor and the world. I didn't know if people, I don't know if people have actually seen a human body. But these two, I think what's really key here is we have to have that leadership, and we have to trust in the divine feminine to come through, because no one knows about nurturing and solving problems and making things work together than the divine feminine. Mm-hmm. The two of these paired is a very nice mixture for me. However, we got to get through these daily obstacles. What's going to help us with that is we are all very unique. And that uniqueness is going to be a treasure for us. And in that uniqueness, we need to figure out how to forgive those things for which we don't understand, because it's preventing us from being our authentic and complete selves. So, everybody this is, yes, there's been some small victories. Do not stop. Now is not the time. We are just getting started. I mean, I'm still hot from the polyterology and the fact that why are men discussing women's bodies? Hello. Come for me, YouTube. It's okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Amen there, brother.
There you go.
Okay. Sheila, lay it on us.
Because men don't know women. That's why they're trying to come for our bodies.
They're the ones who haven't seen the body, right? They're the ones.
Yeah, they don't know what to do with
body.
it. We might as well try to control it.
Yeah,
So I know there's the answer to that is way, way, way deeper than what we of course acknowledge in this country. However, there was a poem, and I can't find it. I've been sitting here looking for it. I'm sure everybody's noticed that I've been trying to find this little poem which talks about how humans can evolve into subspecies. Now, just because you were a subspecies doesn't mean that we're less than. Subspecies just means lateral difference, different ways of doing it, right? And this was one of the things I read this article, documentary, something along that lines of how right now the transition. So we're in this tree-based transition. So what do we do with the people who are agreeing to the enlightenment and going higher and going, doing, not that we're higher and lower, it's just we talk vibration. We always talk high vibration, low vibration. People who are interested in honesty and loyalty and the equality of humans and stuff like that. All of those to the ones who just refuse to go along with us. There's just the Americas really, really portrays this subspecies that we have available to us and to acknowledge that, right? So I always think about everything that is going to happen like in 2024 as a prediction. I am so excited about 2024. I cannot hold my excitement in. I am so excited about 2024. Are we going to go through some rough times? Yeah, I'm excited about those too. You know why? Because that's where the break is finally going to happen. That's when that earth bubbling up, that separation is going to finally start happening. So I am incredibly excited about that. That subspecies that we're talking about are those who are just absolutely refused. And I'm not even sure if it's a choice, because I can tell you by sitting here, right now, I have no idea why I was chosen to become one of these. I don't know. I don't know what I did, what favor I got into. I have no idea. So I'm not sure that they're choosing it like I chose this, like they're choosing that, right? So I just want to be clear. But there's just no way of coming out of it. And I feel like that is where 2024 is heading us into, is to acknowledging this separation. Now, we all know, and we've all seen by experience, what happens to the subspecies that absolutely refuses to grow. Right? They die out. So let's acknowledge at least that part. Not that they're going to actually physically die, because this is for entertainment purposes even. I'm talking about their ideas, their behavior, their everything, right? Everything that they believe in, it just kind of dies out, peters out, and nothing happens. They just go live their life out until the bitter end. And then the one that we have been manifesting for so long, the ones who have that at one point in time in my life, I know that I could have chosen the darkness or I could have chosen the lightness. And that was probably my only time that I know that I chose the light. But I'm not even sure I did it on myself at that time either. So anyways, we have home and hearth. It is time to clear space and invite the fresh energy in. We have fresh, brand new energy that is coming to us, and we have to be available to that. Now that we know that we can choose to be available to that, we need to do that. If you have relationships that you need to fix in your life, do it. Do it now. If you have ideas that are just not working for
unknown caller.
Unknown caller. Okay. There you go.
It could be Trump.
Exactly. No.
Looking for ideas.
Yeah. So we have to get on board of understanding that we need to choose that. What's the worst thing that can happen if you repair a bad relationship with somebody that you've hated for years? Really, what could be the worst thing that could happen?
Yeah.
If we think about it. What's the worst thing that we sit there and say, you know what? I'm willing to let go of all of this. I'm willing to let go of the shame, the idea, the anger, the bitterness, all of it, in order for us, both of us, if we really care about humanity, if you care about who you are and care about who they are, we all need that availability for both of us to be able to move forward. But if you keep a hold of that, you see, there's the problem. That's what we've been talking about for so long in this community. All of my people in my community have been speaking in this way from one way or another, like be kind, do this, all of it. So we have to invite that fresh energy in, and we have to clear our plates in order to do that. Then we have the inner chamber, and this is where we take time to communicate with your spirits and your ancestors. So your inner chamber is so incredibly important that you're still living off of your ancestors' prayers. No doubt in my mind. Because back in the day when all of our ancestors were worried about food and they were all skinny and on the verge of starving to death, they manifested food. I've got 50 pounds worth of that food on my body right about now. Okay? So we're still living off of the manifestation and the prayers of our ancestors. So the communication that what we need to go on the inside and do all of that communication with all of that is so incredibly important right here, right now, to choose to do that. And then, of course, our community. So now that we have realized we got to fix the relationships and the hard stuff that's going on in our life, go inside and communicate the inside and get that cleaned out as well. Now we join the community. What community are you going to join? I am not going to go join the MAGA community. They have nothing I want. They have nothing that I think that is beneficial. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm not saying that they're good, bad, or indifferent. They just don't have anything that I want. I want to move forward with unity and clarity and love and kindness and inclusiveness. They don't have any of that for me, so I will not be joining them. And that goes with a lot of people, the drugs, alcohol, whatever it is that people have problems with, okay? So we need to join our friends and their covens and go find our tribe and our covens that we are available to. So I think that has a lot to do with the future of 2024. It kind of gives you a prescription of how to handle what's coming up, because people, kids, children, dogs, cats, whatever it is, I hope you're listening. Buckle up, campers. Here we go. And I want everybody to be excited about it, not in fear, because the faster and the more powerful that we look for the future to get this to come in, the less we have to endure it. You see? And we have that ability to not necessarily speed it up because we don't have any control of that, but we do have the ability to go walk through it with grace and dignity and love for everyone. And if we have that ability to do that, man, is it going to feel like it's going to speed up, if that makes any sense. So that's my future for that. Buckle up, little campers. And at the end of 2024, and I know a lot of the readers have seen this many a time, and with their cards and stuff like that, mine are matching theirs, so I know that I'm on the right track. By the time September, October, and November get here, we are in the sunlight of the spirit, and we will be happy. We will have something substantial to heal from, or heal to walk over and start the healing process. So anyways, I'll get off of my pulpit now, and there you have it. And I am open to any political readings if you guys have any.
This soapbox,
Exactly.
stood on by Celtic Tarot Sheila.
Exactly. So there you have it.
And a message very well delivered. Thank you.
Very nice.
Yeah.
You know, as everyone was talking, I pulled a couple of cards, and I got divine intervention and divine magic.
Yeah.
And both of them work off of female energy, female divine feminine energy. So what Gerald brought up, several others brought up, and then it's a brand new deck. I just started using it, and it's like, okay, that's pretty powerful.
Very nice. Very cool. So I also I pulled a few cards. And I spoke about 2024 last night, and so I'm not going to repeat all of that, but this 2024 will be very interesting, and I think this really does focus on the divine feminine, because people have begun to acknowledge the divine feminine. I think it's been coming on since 2012. So we've got over 10 years of people saying, yes, the divine feminine is rising and women are coming into their own. And there's a lot of men who have kind of joined us and supported us in this. But it isn't finished. The journey isn't done. You know, the divine feminine was the rule of the planet for probably millennia. We probably don't know how long it was like that, but you know, a long time. And the patriarchy is relatively young. We gave them a shot. That's over now. And we need to keep moving with the feminine, because women create life. And I'm sorry, Gerald, I have to say it. Women create life, and that doesn't make us better than, it's just obvious. Like, if you want to keep creating life, if you want to keep moving forward in the most yang energy that you can, it's to create that life. Even though that's a feminine operation, it's very outward and projective. You got to admit, you're making a whole other life. That's about as projective and yang as I can think of. So it's very interesting, the cards that I pulled. I pulled from an oracle deck. And the first card that I got is the Anointed. I rise with only more soil. And the meaning of this card is that when one is anointed, it's an acknowledgement of the cycle of life and death. That, yeah, okay, you're going to protect yourself in life, but the life that you're protecting is just a shell. And when that ends and you go into death, your soul doesn't die. Your soul is still moving on. And the acknowledgement of that life and death cycle and the soul that never dies is, I think, a very feminine concept, because we can give life. Not give life. I mean, it does take a male to create the life, but we actually give birth. I think that's the way I should term it. We give birth. And so birthing this idea, rebirthing the idea of divine feminine, and bringing that instruction to the world is kind of our mission, kind of our charge for 2024. And it's not the only time we'll be doing it. We've been doing it for almost 12 years now in 2024, right? So we're going to keep doing it. We're going to keep instructing lovingly, with lots of nurturing, with lots of care, without, fighting and horrible hostility and violence and confrontation. We're going to eliminate all that stuff. And we're just going to keep teaching everybody about the divine feminine, because that's what's needed. We need healing, divine feminine. We need to learn more about ourselves and our soul, divine feminine. I just think that's really important. The second card that I got is called the Third Power. Humility is my greatest strength. As long as a group, as a community, as we realize that there's no one who is above us or below us or better than us or further, yeah, we're going to know a lot of people who may know more stuff than we know about a certain topic, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're better than us. It just means that on their path, they focused more on that, or they got it inherently, or they received it from their guides. But it's just that's their path, and we're on our path. And as long as we all acknowledge that everybody's on their own path and that there's no rush to get there, like it's not a race, there's no finish line, well, there is, but that's the transition. So let's not get there too fast, but this feeling of divine feminine is, I think, a nice overarching way of looking at the year coming up, because it is going to be a challenging year, and it's going to challenge all of us not to look at people and say, oh, did you believe what that guy did? Oh my God, and kind of dissing them for that. It's more about compassion. Why did they do that ridiculous thing? Why are they acting like that? Are they upset? Are they sick? Are they mistaken? Are they angry at somebody else and taking it out on me? I mean, they're this divine feminine, this compassion, this learning about, how to help everybody along that can come along. Because as Sheila was saying, people are going to be making choices. Now, some of these poor souls are going to make what I would consider the wrong choice. It may feel right for them, but I would consider it the wrong choice. I will try to teach them why I think their choice might not be so great. But if they don't want to learn, hey, it's your choice. I'm not, I'll try to help you, but I got to have my boundaries too. I got to still keep myself whole. And that's part of the anointed, knowing that there's a life-death cycle and my path is my path. And that's also that humility of, okay, well, I'm just not the teacher for you. I'm just not the person who can teach that to you. That's okay. There's other people. And the last card that I got was the Beloved. Love never ends. And we say this so much, but it's so powerful and it's so true that loving yourself and loving everybody around you is so important. And this year we're going to need that so much more than ever, because there isn't a destination in our lives. There is a journey. There is going forward. And 2024, I feel, is kind of the fulcrum of the decade. It's kind of the midway point, right? So if you think of the whole decade, we're getting Pluto in Aquarius. That's going to help us so much. And then we're going to get a little retrograde and it's going to slip back into Capricorn. Holy moly, the crap that's going to be happening when Pluto finally dips its toe back into Capricorn for the last time is probably going to be astonishingly bad. But we got through 2020. There's a lot of evidence that we can get through a lot. And again, if we come back to the lessons of the divine feminine and just remind ourselves that we are all loved, we are all a part of the divine. We can help others by reminding them that they are loved, they are part of the divine. Even if they seem like assholes, you still have to love them in some way. You still have to give them some love. And that's my challenge. I'm way judgmental on those people. I judge them every day. And then I turn around and go, oh, Colleen, you're so judgmental. Jeez, you're so judgy. But, that's me. That's my personality. I just am like that. But I task myself with trying to love even those people that I'm judging. And that helps me. It kind of lets the burden fall off. It may only last 10 minutes because I'm really pretty judgy. But, once I pick myself up again and realize that, well, okay, for those 10 minutes, I was sending love to that person. That's got to be worth something, So, I'm easy on myself too. I'm not perfect. I mean, just, look at everything, nobody's perfect. But in 2024, think of it as kind of the midway point of the decade and challenge yourself to love as much as you can. Forgive yourself when you don't. Love others, even the people who are assholes. And the ones that aren't assholes that you hold dear, that you tell them every day that you love them. Okay, that's it.
Could I mention something, Colleen?
Yeah, yeah, please do.
First of all, I love what Sheila had mentioned, that she brought up Mega, and that, nobody else did. But, we really need to realize that we've got such a huge mental health problem in this country, including
Yes.
people that want to lead the country that have a lot of mental illness. And so trying to raise the vibration for those people is going to be the most difficult challenge, because
Yep.
they don't relate to that kind of thing. They're embedded into conspiracies and wanting Trump to be the savior for them, not understanding that he's leading them into hell. I mean, he's just a terrible person. I can't believe he's gone this far for his candidacy. But it's mental health. It's just a massive, massive problem, and it's so hard to overcome that, because those people aren't receptive to possibly raising their vibration. They don't understand that there is such a thing. So while all these things are going up and down, just keep that in mind. And if everybody can come up with ways to kind of connect with those people and let the, they'll never probably understand that they are headed down the wrong road, because they're mentally ill. They're just, they've been drawn in by a mentally ill leader. So that's really all I wanted to mention, was that, mental illness is a huge problem, and it's something that we're all going to have to deal with, as far as trying to raise the level of energy for those kind of people.
Yeah, and I think, people who are looking at what kind of career should I go into in the next decade, mental health, that's the area where we really need a lot of people. And I think, yes, are all of them that follow him really mentally ill, or are they just operating under a delusion? We've had Neptune in Pisces for like 12 years.
Well, we don't want to be doctors, right? There's a clear line of being a doctor and being able to diagnose or not to diagnose. And to be honest with you, I think that at this point in time and this level of experience that we have been experiencing, the only thing we can do with them is offer. And if the offer is not taken, that is not our responsibility to make sure that they're doing anything different than what they are doing in their life.
Yeah.
I also wanted to say one more thing when you were talking about the men. Back in the day, the women are considered the ones who create the life and birth the life and hold the life and all that. But the men are so incredibly important, because they are the ones that protected the life. So not only was a woman creating the life, the man was the protector of that life. So that's the reason why the tandem and the equality of a man and a woman are so important. Whether we're not talking gender, we're just talking the protector. I would have a gay man would protect me and a baby just as much as a straight man would do with me, and so they are the protectors of life. So.
Yeah, there is a complementary relationship there for sure. And you don't want to exclude the divine masculine, but the divine masculine has been in control, not divine masculine, the masculine has been in control for so long that this isn't a backlash, this is a balancing.
They have been misguided. I agree.
Yeah. So maybe for the first 12 years, it was a backlash. And even going back into the 60s, where you had feminism that was really a backlash to the patriarchy, I think we've calmed down quite a bit from that. And I think we could spend, let's say, another century just teaching people about how powerful they are when they tap into their divine feminine. The divine masculine ain't going anywhere either, because it is complementary. You do need both of them. Absolutely, Sheila. That's absolutely right. Helen, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, about the mental health issue.
Mm-hmm.
I think what we're seeing is the unbelievable neurological changes and neurophysiological and chemical changes that happen with brainwashing. I think that very intentionally, for at least 5 or 6 decades, the media has been increasingly and more increasingly propagandized. and people are spending a whole lot more time interacting with screens, devices, and sources of pseudo information. And that does change your brain anatomically and biochemically. And I think that one good step that all of us could take on an individual basis would be to get people to shut off their screens, stop watching the news shows that they're watching, and maybe engage with the outdoors, engage with, play a deck of cards with people. That still seems silly, but break the stranglehold that media and propaganda have on people's brains. That's what's going on with MAGA. And it's a lot like what happened in the mid-30s. It's a complete, really cynical and programmed agenda of propaganda.
Yeah, agreed. Val, what's going on with you?
I just wanted to point out, of course, now it's probably too late in the conversation, but every single being has the divine masculine and feminine within them. So this movement is for every being on the planet. That nurturing and beautiful, caregiving, receptive energy inside of everyone, men included, is activating, is balancing with that beautiful divine masculine, which is that outgoing, I'm going to protect everyone, and I'm bringing, that's inside of us, protecting ourselves and putting our boundaries, going out and doing what we need in the world. So you see women have been stepping out into that divine masculine energy, creating in the world. And you see a lot more men that are sensitive and loving and care for their children like a mother would. So this movement is inside of every single person. And I just wanted to highlight that for everyone in our community to know that the men in your lives are having this balancing going on as well.
Wow.
True.
I know y'all were talking with the mental health aspect. I mean, one of the new shows I'm getting ready to start is myself and a professional counselor are going to be doing a show once a month on mental health wellness. Just kind of a basic, and with a professional there who can kind of let you know, no, we can't go that far, or we need to back up, because you have to be careful online. But our main goal is to offer comfort and to offer options for people to look at if they are truly dealing with mental health issues. Who do they call? A lot of people are so shamed by that aspect that they're afraid to reach out and ask for help, even because they don't want to be shamed by their family or their friends, or made fun of, or lose their job, or and so one of the main goals we have is to be able to point out the different avenues, different things that can be done to reach the help that you need, whether if it's just a really minor type of help or if it's something a really major type of help that you need, because there has been so much turmoil in the last 10 years that most of the people in just our country alone are operating under PTSD. I mean, there's a lot of us that are just, and that's not even beginning to touch what our military are going through, or our police, or our medical people, or that kind of thing, and the kind of stresses and traumas that they deal with. And now the population as a whole is dealing with a lot of these stressors that we're not used to dealing with. And so people are going to one extreme or the other, but they don't know how to get help, or they don't know how to calm themselves. I mean, it's real easy to give a trite answer of, well, go meditate and pray. Well, that's great if you know how to do that. But if you're talking to somebody that doesn't know how to meditate, or doesn't know or believe in prayer, then you're kind of hitting a wall there, you know. So it's being able to offer those avenues to go around that to give people a little bit of hope of where they can go for help. You know, that's kind of our goal of what we want to do with this new show that we're going to start, you know. So I mean, we'll see. It may flop and it may not. I don't know what it's going to do, but you know, that's both of our hopes, that we can at least offer some alternative options for people who are dealing with too many stressors in their life.
You know, Shari, what you're talking about is everything you're trying to do, every bit helps. So just know that. And I'm really glad you're coming up with a show like that, because yes, it's super important. And the mental health in this country is so, it's come unglued. I mean, not just with the politics, but with kids going out and shooting people, and you know, the drug addiction and all these people dying from fentanyl overdoses and that kind of thing. That all fits into that. And so, yeah, to have a show like that is very helpful. Thank you.
Well, Cleo, you just took the words right out of my mind. Thank you for saying that. Shari, that's going to be an awesome show. I'll definitely be watching that show. I just wanted to bring in some astrology to this, because the full moon that's happening in January is effing amazing. It might be a little scary for some people. It's very powerful moon, very, very powerful. And just don't. One of the things that I think you'll be seeing all through 2024 is surprising actions and reversals. There's just going to be so many things that, and so there could be like a big swath of people that turn around from MAGA and go, whoa, what was I thinking? You know, I mean, you could see a whole bunch of people really reject that, or, you know, you could see the things with the war in Ukraine or the war in Israel. I mean, they just talked about Israel is retreating from several sites in Gaza. Why? Okay, great. That's fantastic. You know, so you're going to see like surprising reversals and surprising developments all through the year. But this full moon that's coming up is just, I mean, I can't even express just how impactful, how profound it's going to be. That first of all, 5 days before the full moon is when Pluto goes into Aquarius. That's a game changer. That's a sea change. And then 2 days after the full moon, we have Uranus stationing direct. And Uranus is involved with the full moon because the Pluto and Sun are in Aquarius, and Uranus is the ruler. So that's all connected. And then the Pluto just changing signs right before that is, I mean, just profound. So just in January, we're going to have like 7 days of just blowing everything up. And I can't even tell you all what it's going to affect, but it's not just going to be the United States. It's going to affect the whole world, because it just is. Both Uranus and Pluto affect things on a world level because they deal with very, very large entities. And it's in the sign of Aquarius, and well, Taurus and Aquarius, because Aquarius deals with the masses. Taurus deals with the earth, literally with the earth. It is the earthiest of earth signs. So, I mean, we could have some surprising developments just at the end of January.
Well, did you see there was a gigantic earthquake in Japan?
Yes.
Today?
Yeah.
That was really weird. For the last 3 or 4 days, I was watching this one guy on YouTube who does all the trains and stuff like that in China or in Japan, and I was so focused on that. I was like, "This is so interesting." I have been so focused on Japan. I've got to realize that sometimes those little things just kind of steer me. The energy was steering me that way, and I think a lot of us feel, you know, like we're just interested in it, but yet the energy was steering. I also wanted to bring up there's a lot of people commenting in the comments that are really bringing up some really good things, like you know, our food having an effect on this mental illness. You know, the red states, they don't have access to good mental health, and they don't have access to good eating and food. I mean, there's a McDonald's every 30 seconds when you drive down a main street, say in Kentucky. I notice the difference. I do a lot of traveling. My job creates, and I go to Wyoming and I go to South Dakota, and Utah, and all around me. And I realize how much like fast food is so accessible and so cheap in these red states that are surrounding me. And
Mm.
I think that has a lot to do with that as well. When you're poor and you're hungry, it doesn't matter where you get your food from, as long as you take care of that need that they have.
Well,
And
and it's cheaper to buy junk food
Yeah.
at Walmart than it is to go to a Whole Foods place or a farmer's market and buy, fresh fruit, fresh vegetables. Going to your local meat market and buying local meat if you're, if you eat meat. Um, it I know down where I'm at, yeah, we have fast food stuff all over the place. Our biggest problem down here is that the foods that we do eat are very high in fat and cholesterol. They're just not very healthy foods for you because of the way that they're made and the way that they're cooked, as well as there's just far too much alcohol consumed, especially in my state. You can get a drive-through daiquiri hut every other block here. I mean, you
right,
could be
so we just have to be
3
aware of
feet
those
to the
things.
wind just going from work to home between the daiquiri shops you can stop at. Um,
Correct. Our bodies for long generations have been addicted to sugar. Somebody had said salt, sugar, salt, fat, and all of that.
Preservatives.
I'm not one to preach because I'm not like this thin thing walking around. I'm just saying that I'm incredibly aware that when how I used to love Twinkies back in the day, right? And I had that would have been by years. Like, you know what? I think I'll try one. I've tried one. It tasted nothing like, it just tasted like chemical to me. I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's something to that, right? That even my taste buds, I cannot.
I gave up fried foods years ago, and it's like now every once in a while, if
Sodas.
I eat something that's fried, all I can taste is the oil or the grease, and it's not appetizing like it used to be.
So there's a
I
lot
mean, I bake and broil everything nowadays, so
creating mental health and awareness. So what if all of a sudden, in these states that fast food is so readily accessible, that something changes so drastically that they have to go out of business. I've never felt bad about a business going out of business ever. And that has been one of my things. I'm like, you go out of business, that's not my problem. However, what if they did go out of business and all of a sudden the people around there had to make their own foods, grow their own foods, create, and they get back to the basics to where their health is starting to improve and then their mental health starts to improve. I know here in Colorado, there's so many health food stores on every corner. And I'm not trying to brag, but it really is ridiculous. We have, Sprouts and Natural Grocers feet away from each other, and organic, and stuff like that. So that mindset here in Colorado really does resonate with a lot of people of eating and making sure you're not eating, cows that have been tortured. If you're eating meat, make sure that it's ethically sourced, and all of that good happy horse crap that we talk about here in Colorado. But I'm not saying that we're the golden children of health and all of that. I'm just saying that it just makes a huge difference. A huge difference.
Can I ask a question of everybody? We kind of have a family game, sort of, just talk about being judgmental. One of my favorite things to do is to go when I'm in the grocery store is to look at what's in people's carts. And I'm no paragon, believe me, no paragon. And watching television, you'll see things that are reality shows where people are eating dinner in their own homes in real time. And it's all yellow. There's never, like macaroni and cheese kind of yellow, not golden squash yellow. There's not a vegetable in sight. There's never a vegetable in sight. And when you look at what's in people's carts at the grocery store, it's kind of terrifying. And I thought I was really bad until I started looking, and it's astounding. And where do you start? How do you educate people? It's a matter of education. How do you really educate people? Because it is possible to eat healthy and not spend a lot of money. We talk about grains and legumes, grains and beans and greens. That's what poor people still eat when they know better, but people don't know to make the choices.
Yeah.
Just an observation.
There's also a lot of places in the United States that are just food deserts where they just don't have good grocery stores at all. They just don't. They don't have any little plot of land that they can grow their own food. I remember reading or maybe it was a documentary about I think it was Detroit that just got so bad. All they had was a few like bodegas, like each of them 20 miles from the other one. And so people and Detroit had gone, this is like a few years ago, but Detroit had gone through a real economic downturn with the car industry. And so a lot of grocery stores had left, drugstores had left, just a lot of businesses had left. So they had all this land where they had these old buildings where there was no merchant there. So the communities just kind of like took over those buildings, knocked them down, dug up the pavement, and started planting their own gardens. But it took them a long time to do that. And of course, they're eating McDonald's the whole time they're doing it because there's nothing else to eat. But
that's the forced change that I'm talking about. Like, I don't ever feel bad about a company going and things. It's like there's a forced change coming on them, and there's always an opportunity to do better.
There is.
I know in several of the big cities, it's very popular with high-rise apartment buildings and stuff that have started putting rooftop gardens, and everybody that lives in the building all takes part in what's being planted on the roof, and then the harvest of it.
That's great. That's really great. Depending on the environment, on the weather, you might not always have food year round, but I think down by where you live, you could, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Not where I live, but that's
No.
okay. But still, it's a start, even if you're eating well 5 months out of the year, that's better than none, and I think kind of that's how we have to look at it. Don't let the perfect outweigh the good,
Well, and but also, we're poisoning the earth. So the fact that our oceans are toxic, that our air is toxic, and all these things. Well, the thing about fish and any kind of shellfish and that kind of thing. I mean, the crabs in Alaska in the Bering Sea, they're disappearing because the water got too warm. And then you go out and you see all these whales coming back full of plastic and dying up on the shores. And then the FDA actually, this just floored me when I found this out a couple of years ago, that they have found that every bit of fish that we have is probably tainted with mercury, but they're saying there's acceptable levels of mercury. No, there is not any acceptable levels of mercury, and that's all caused by the garbage we've dumped into the ocean, the industrial waste that ends up in the oceans, and it's our fault. So all of those things, when you get down to just what people choices and what has happened, we have created a mess. We have to change all that. We have to clean up the oceans. We have to clean up the air. We have to go to electric cars. We have to try and do everything we can to protect the earth, because without that, you're going to have a diet of toxic. You're going to put toxicity into your system all the time.
Yeah. I'm just writing down all of these little topics because these are going to make great show topics later.
Well, and I hate to say that kind of stuff because it sounds so negative and it sounds so hopeless. But I do see an events happening, beginning, especially in 2024, where we start to see changes being made. I know that there is people out there, especially with the oceans. We have I can't remember what it's called, but it's this, there's like 4 or 5 sites throughout the oceans. And there's one between the West Coast and Hawaii that is the size of Texas, that is filled because of the way the what's it called?
Ocean current.
The way it's all come together, that this has got this huge, massive garbage dump in the bottom of the sea, and it's not just in the bottom, but there most of it is. And there's, you know, I don't know how they're going to clean that up, but that just is, that's horrifying to me. A dump site the size of Texas, and it doesn't just exist in that one spot. It's called the Pacific something or other. And I think it's like the Pacific garbage dump, but there's like 4 or 5 of them throughout the world that are doing it because all countries are dumping stuff into the ocean. Well, there you go. You've just contaminated every fish that comes out of the ocean that we might eat.
See, this
I'm
is
in a gas and oil state where we have
yeah.
drilling accidents all the time. I mean, BP was the worst, but we have them all the time. You know, and this is a huge fish and shrimping area that, I mean, you'd be really terrified to see what comes out of the ocean around here with the fishermen, just in the mutations that it causes in the fish and the shrimp and all of that from the oil that gets in the water.
Wow.
Well, and they've done studies of breast milk, and everybody's breast milk is contaminated with chemicals, pesticides, metals. Yeah, there's just, you cannot find anyone and they've done a lot of studies, and everybody.
Yeah.
Wow. Crazy.
What do you think, Gerald? You haven't spoken for a while.
Yeah.
No, I've been thinking about this, and I think it goes back to the idea is there's this dramatic need for balance. We are so out of balance.
Yes.
And balance in the way we look at our food, the way we look at the interactions with each other, the way we educate ourselves and our children, the behavior we show to each other, because children learn by observation, and then being willing to have the difficult conversations. Yeah, the idea of being honest and open and saying, I don't know how I feel about that, or I don't know, and be okay with not knowing, and to normalize the fact that everybody doesn't need to be happy all the time. It's natural. Mother Nature goes through phases. We have light, we have dark, we have periods of activity, we have periods of rest. If we sync up with that and we normalize that, the idea of getting balance, you know, are really important.
Yeah. Good point.
I love that. I love that idea of syncing up with the biggest teacher that we have available to us, our Earth. He or she is our biggest teacher of how we should be behaving and thinking and emotions and all of that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Gerald, what kind of difficult conversations do you mean? Like, can you describe what that would look like?
Well, I think a difficult conversation would be the reversal of Roe v. Wade.
Oh, those.
Why
kinds
is
of
that important? For having conversations, and for parents and adults around children to show what it looks like to have respectful disagreements, and to really work hard at trying to understand. Because you know, I grew up in a big household. There were 12 children.
Me too.
Oh, wow.
And sometimes mom and dad would fight. Not a whole lot. But when they did, we didn't see how they resolved it. We just got up the next day and it was like, everything is normal, I guess. And fortunately for me, that didn't happen a lot. So I think those difficult conversations, and the idea that that males can have feelings, and in fact that feelings are what makes people stronger, that depth, that perception. Does that help, Helen?
Yeah, you brought to mind a conversation I had with one of my daughters yesterday. Her child had a birthday at the bowling alley. And she said, Mom, I'm making myself sound old. She said, Mom, you just would not believe the behavior of the kids in general, not their friends, because they keep a lid on it. She said, these kids don't understand not pushing people aside to get in front, not eating with their fists, not just getting in your face, interrupting a conversation, spewing snot. And she just went on a list of really awful behaviors that in my day was called, you would call bad manners, And
Yep.
there's just a lack of consideration, it seems like, for the feelings and the well-being of other people and how we affect people around us. And I think we all do it, but to an extreme, to a social extreme. I think you're right.
There's young parents on YouTube and on TikTok who are constantly putting up the little shorts, the little quick videos of their daughter who's like around 4, 5, 6, right in that area. And I mean, their mode of how they're trying to parent her is just, to me, atrocious, because this child has temper tantrums and breaks things and just, I mean, behavior that had we been like that, we'd have gotten our butts tanned, good and proper with a belt, and put in the corner to top it off. I mean, my grandmother didn't put up with that nonsense. But I mean, you can hear the laughter in their voice as they're trying to discipline this child, and it's like you're creating a monster, because you've got a little girl who's going to grow up thinking that if she has a hissy fit, then everybody's going to do it her way, whether it be a teacher or a boss or a boyfriend or a best friend or parents, whatever, and slaps at her mother when her mom does try to correct her and stuff. It's like, oh, honey, you would have lost your hands had you done something like that when I was a kid. I mean, my grandmother would have ripped us a new one. But they post these little videos, and it's like, the first one I saw, I thought it was funny, and I laughed. I thought it was just one of those, off-the-wall events that somebody catches on film. And then because I watched it, it wound up being in my feed, and I started getting more and more and more of these little videos. And I was just appalled, watching just the way this child behaved. I was truly flummoxed. I was like, how can you let your kid behave like that? Excuse me, in public,
Well, that set of parents probably must love that child very much, because they're going to be living with her till she's 40, because she's never going to get a job. She's never going to get along with anybody.
Yeah.
She probably won't be able to go to college. I mean, if you don't have the kind of social skills that allow you to cooperate with other people, it's going to be very hard to succeed in life.
And they're
that's what-
conditioning her. They're conditioning her to make her bad behavior something performative and rewarded.
Yes.
Putting it on,
Yeah.
That's why we need to reform our educational system to include body, mind, and spirit, the environment, building empathy, and understanding who we really are and what we're doing here. And it's a whole entire revamp that needs to be done from that generation on. Then our earth can be taken care of, and everything can be beautiful and green, and we'll all be empathetic and connected. This is in my idealistic world, but
I want to live in your world.
We also need to hold ourselves accountable for our behaviors.
Yeah.
that's empathetic. When you feel that you've done someone wrong, you feel that pinch in your consciousness that, oh, I've hurt this person, and it hurts you too. And you realize that, of course, like Gerald said, your actions have consequences, and it makes you feel bad at the end of the day. It's something that comes back to you, and that is building that bridge in that higher consciousness immediately. Of course, kids are coming in with that now, but then you have the kids who are completely detached from it. So there's There's a bunch of things going on now.
Yeah.
Would
I
love
was going to say that it's sometimes people forget parenting begins the day the child is born. It doesn't begin when they're able to speak or walk or what. It begins on that first day. So that child who is being rewarded for bad behavior is going to be very, very confused when at 13, 14, mom and dad have had enough and they say, that's it, I'm not putting up with this anymore.
Good luck.
Is going to say, but, hello? Like you never said anything before. You can't, you parent the child until they are 18, 19. After that,
40,
if you become
45.
friends, perfect. That's a bonus when you're friends with your children. But you are their parent first.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think
I saw a video with
a mentor that I had in my postgraduate work in Gestalt therapy talked about the importance of with parenting is that the parents are consistent.
Yes.
Because that way the child understands boundaries. And I have to say, I am not a parent. I don't want to be one. But I know people who are divorced and they co-parent together for the benefit of that child. And that takes work.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. That takes a lot
It
of work.
does.
And
Can I
patience.
say one little brief thing?
Yeah.
Just in light of what Gerald just said, my son-in-law, I hold his family up as just paragons of that kind of parenting. His parents got divorced. And what did they do? This is when he was a child. They moved out of the house. The children stayed in the house, and the parents took turns schlepping the suitcase so that the children would have stability and they are lovely young men, just wonderful individuals, and the parents are still friends. So I don't know, maybe it's just a fairy tale. I don't know. But it's beautiful how it worked out.
You know, and I saw, like, especially during the pandemic, and I know you guys are talking about just specific, well, like you guys saw a video or something about a child that was unruly. I mean, during the pandemic, a lot of the older workers at the grocery stores were forced to quit working because it was getting too dangerous. And the younger people came in and took over and stocked the shelves and ran the cash register and put out the produce. And I mean, I just couldn't believe what an excellent job they did and how nice and polite. And it was just like they stepped up, like, we're needed, we're going to go do it. And they did it right. And I just thought these kids have been brought up by some great parents. Great parenting out there. So I realize there's a lot of problems with some other younger people, but what I saw, it just touched my heart that these kids just without thinking about just, yeah, you need us to work here and do this, we'll do it. So it goes both ways.
Yeah, and it may just depend on the am I muted? No. It may just depend on the generation, We're all kind of older, but there's several generations behind us and they're all kind of distinct. They all kind of have their own kind of ethos, I think. So it's one, like my daughters are two different generations. One is a millennial and one's whatever that next thing is. Can't keep them straight, but they have similar but different attitudes towards work, towards children, towards the world, towards the environment, and it's just different. Depends on the generation.
But I bet it's positive at both ends.
Yeah, it's very positive, and I hope, because they were raised by me and I was kind of a maniac on the work thing when they were little, because I was a single mom and, I really wanted them to be able to eat. That was the main thing. So I wanted them to eat well. They saw me working a lot. And, I think I loved them enough that, now they realize that work is a good thing, unlike a lot of their friends. So it's really interesting. So I'd like to end this on a positive note. We've touched some really important topics. So if we could just go around and everybody just give us your last little most positive thing to remember for 2024, that would be great. Shari, can we start with you?
Yeah, before I cough my head off. Sorry, y'all. My cold medicine's wearing off. Um, Again, as I started out, be kind to each other. You know, you see a harassed worker in a store, stop and thank them for doing their job and trying to do it well. You see, you see a harassed mom with 3 or 4 kids that doesn't know what the hell she's doing. Stop and offer a hand. Hey, you need help with rounding these up and getting them in the car or whatever. It's little things like that that can make a world of difference to the person who's under that stress. And I think if we just make that little effort, even if it's just one person a day, eventually it builds. And it's like paying it forward. You pay for the guy behind you, and before you know it, you got a whole line of people that are paying for the guy behind them. So
Yeah. Oh, that's
nobody wants to break that chain.
yeah, that's good. Let's mix it up a little bit. We'll go down to Sheila next. Sheila, what do you got to tell us for 2024? The last bit.
Well, I think the remaining thought is that buckle up and be prepared for the change and keep your eye on the prize. And let's stay who we are and don't let this affect us in a negative way.
Good one. Great. Helen, what do you got to say?
Well, maintain your focus and realize that every small decision you make has a huge impact in a ripple effect. So everything you do should come from a place of ethics and love.
Great. Marina, what's up with you?
Well, I would say just remember, nothing changes if nothing changes. So the things that are happening for our highest good. We may not like it, but it's good for us. Ultimately, it will be good for us. Be positive. Look forward to the change.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Gerald, what do you got for us?
We need to stay grounded. Because when we are grounded, we understand what it looks like to give respect and to receive respect and to expect it.
Oh, good one. I love that. I love that. Great. Cleo.
Well, I think for 2024 that, actually what is happening here on YouTube with the psychics, it takes a village of psychics to kind of dissect what in the world is going on in the world. And so I see that 2024 for the psychic community it's going to be very beneficial. So people over here in the chat box or whoever's out there, that if they want to participate in this and find out what psychics are telling them is true, because remember, it's not just the opinion of the psychic. The psychic's getting their information from their spirit guides, and the spirit guides never lead you in the wrong direction. So it's going to be a very cool year, and I think this group, this entire community, is really going to help in the world.
Oh, thank you. That's great. And Val, let's wrap it up with you.
Okay, so letting go of old thought forms and ideas. I know this year is going to bring a lot of feelings of being overwhelmed, and that overwhelm can, you go, what is this from? Why am I feeling this way? Well, generally it is about letting go of old thought forms and ideas. Get up and move. So you move that energy in your body, shift it. When you feel like you're like got pumpkin head of an overwhelm emotionally in every way, move around, go out in nature, take a walk, just move any way you can, or sit down in meditation and let it go, whatever works for you. And secondly, love yourself deeply care for yourself.
Mhm.
From this foundation, all else comes, and that love flows out to everyone around the world, just because it does when you're in that space. That's it.
Oh, wow. Well, you guys, I'm not even going to say one. You guys just laid it out across the waterfront, knocked it out of the park. I think that's it's just beautiful, beautiful messages from everybody. Oh, thank you so much. I know we didn't do much political stuff. What's that?
Did we hear from Helen?
No.
Oh, we did? Yeah, we heard from you, right?
Never
Yeah.
mind. It's
Yeah.
just
It's okay, Gemini. I love your energy. It's fine. just keep putting it out there. You can't make me mad no matter
Join my
what.
world.
I love that. So looking out for somebody else. Yeah, that's way cool on my channel. You go for it.
Thank you.
Yeah, but yeah, you guys just did some cool readings, and we had some cool conversations, and I do know that 2024 is going to be a challenge, but with all of you guys in my corner, how can we lose? We just got so much cool energy here. So thank you so much for coming along and playing. I know we didn't really play polyterology, but we sure played Let's Lift the Vibration, and you guys did great. I'm so happy.
Wow.
Thank you,
so
Colleen. Thank you, everybody. It's
Oh,
great.
thank you. Thank you, guys. Mwah, mwah,
Thank
mwah.
you.
And the people in the chat, thank you for looking out for that little
Wow.
troll. I don't think that was on my channel, but thank you so much
No.
for pointing it out. And you know, we had a fun time. Yay, let's do it again
Yay.
sometime. Maybe for the next pagan holiday or something, we'll do another party like this. All right, everybody, big smiles. We're going to end this here. And thank you so much again. And I'll see you soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
I guess I got